Hi, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Public Image Boot Camp. This is by far one of my favorite virtual events that the Zone 3334 Public Image team hosts every year. I do warn you, there's a lot of information. You're really going to get a mental workout tonight, but it's jam-packed full of great information that our team's going to share with you this evening to really get you in shape for a successful Rotary year coming up with the July 1st start. So we have a lot of information we're going to cover, but this webinar is being recorded. So if you want to go back and revisit anything in more detail, we'll share the recording a little bit later this week. And if you know anyone who might benefit from this content but isn't able to attend tonight, perhaps your club public image chair or people on your public image team or your district team, then please encourage them to go back and watch the recording of the webinar as well and catch up on some of the information that we're going to be sharing this evening. I want to start it off with the question of why does it matter? Public image, why does it matter? Why is it so important that we talk about this and learn how to utilize these tools and incorporate this into our Rotary lives? Well, if you haven't been on any of our webinars, we talk about this on a really frequent basis, and you'll hear the theme of storytelling a lot this upcoming year as well. But getting the message out and telling those stories, utilizing your public image tools to really tell a powerful story about what your Rotary Club and district is doing, what we as Rotarians are doing as people of action is the crux of it. That's the most important thing. It's really the end result is the powerful stories that we need to tell, but those stories are also the catalyst for making improvements in other areas of your club. Public image works in synergy with your membership team and your foundation team and your service project team. If you're telling these stories and exercising your public image activities and being successful in public image, you're going to see better membership engagement and more members coming to your clubs because they want to be a part of this amazing organization. If you're highly active in public image activities in your club, you're going to have better foundation giving and better support for our polio initiative and gain more sponsors and resources for your service projects. So that is why it matters in a crux of it. Telling these stories can enhance the efforts that you're putting in towards all of these other areas of your club and just make your overall club initiatives more successful. And storytelling, again, it's really about talking about the impact that we have. Storytelling can be social media videos and photos, or talking to people one-on-one about an amazing project you participated in last week, or writing a press release to the newsletter. So storytelling can be done in many different channels, and we're utilizing our public image tools to do this and transmit this emotion, this purpose, this impact, and consistently doing it throughout the year. And we're going to talk about how to maintain that consistency throughout the year this evening and some of the tools that you can utilize to do that and effectively share those stories. And as we talk about some of these tools and resources, we have been incorporating AI a lot into what we're doing in public image. And you've heard about it at the zone level if you participated in some of our webinars, like using Magic Write and Canva and using some of the AI tools like ChatGPT and Gemini. We talked about that in our webinar last month, which you can go back and see the recording of if you missed. But using AI, incorporating some of these tools and just learning different tips and tricks to do it effectively can save time, spark creativity, and it supports your efforts. It enhances what you're doing. But we'll talk about AI a little bit more tonight, and make sure you go back and check out some of our recorded webinars if you're interested in getting down into kind of the nitty-gritty of how to use AI with your Rotary public image efforts. So the EPIC Award. I can't see everyone's hands, but raise your hands loud and proud and high if your club is going to achieve the EPIC Award this year, because it just really is a great way to get engaged and maintain that consistency that we talked about. If you've never heard of the EPIC Award, that's okay, because I'm going to walk you through it here in the next few slides. It stands for Excellence in Public Image Coordination. Yes, I know it's another acronym, but it's a fun acronym, and you get rewarded for participating. We've actually been doing something like this for years, and it used to be known as the Public Image Citation, but we rebranded it as the Epic Award just to really celebrate the clubs. And it consists of monthly tasks that we ask you to complete as a club public image chair or team or leader in your club. And we ask clubs to complete these monthly tasks, and by doing so, you'll also be successful in those other areas. It's a lot of times it's things that you're already doing, like putting together a public image plan or a content calendar or updating your brochures and materials. It's things that you're already doing or things that you should be doing if you're not already doing that. But then you get recognized for it at the end of the year, this prestigious recognition and certificate that we give to the districts to hand out to the club. So what are the tasks? Let's talk about them. The Epic Award for the current Rotary year, so the 24-25 Rotary year, actually ends this month. So if you're a current CPIC Club Public Image Chair who's been participating in monthly tasks to achieve that status at the end of the year, April 30th is the last day to get your task submitted. And then we'll kick off the first 3 tasks for next year on May 1st. So you get a little jump start in preparation for the July 1st start of the Rotary year. So we ask you to complete monthly tasks from July through April. And the first 3 tasks are the ones I'm going to cover tonight. And those are the ones we're going to launch first. And they're really what we call the foundational tasks, because it's really stuff that you should be doing. And if you don't do these tasks at the beginning of the year, you're already falling behind. So the first thing we want you to do when you leave tonight, between now and July, check out your website, your social media, do a search of your club and see if you can find any old zombie accounts out there that need to get taken down or duplicate websites. So that July task is a public image audit to look through all of your channels and make sure you have current information. This could be your brochures or your social media. When you're looking for current information, not just are you posting frequently or updating the messages on the website, are you using the right branding? Do you have a consistent brand? And you can see on the screen there that old logo that's like really, really old now. It was retired in 2013, so the math's getting way too long for me to do in my head. So make sure you don't see any of those blue and gold logos out there. We want the Rotary Master brand, which is on the right with a check mark over it. And you can see kind of behind the check mark in what's called the signature line, the club name here. You want your club name there. And that's what you should be using consistently across all of your channels. So go online, go to your website, go to your print materials, check all of your public image tools that you're utilizing to communicate your Rotary stories, and make sure you're using the right branding. And it's just a quick form you'll fill out online in order to submit the task. The public image plan is the next task, so that's in August. And then again, these tasks will all open up in May, so you can go online and check out the form and see what you're going to be asked to submit. And then you can start working on your public image plan. Get your club PI team and your district PI team together. Start setting goals for the whole Rotary year. What channels are you going to be using to share those Rotary stories? When are you going to start talking about certain things? Do you have a big event in the fall that you're going to be hosting? Are you celebrating World Polio Day with a fundraiser or activity? So make sure you're talking about the goals that you want to set and how you're going to accomplish them. Make sure you have assigned responsibilities. So that public image team that hopefully you're putting together, assign people responsibilities and give them ownership of those goals as well. And build in the Rotary brand. If you're using materials to promote your events, make sure that as you're promoting your events with the materials, you're also using that strong Rotary brand. So it might be a little bit daunting if you've never written a public image plan before to get started. So I talked about using AI to make it simple. Let's ask AI to write a public image plan for a Rotary Club. I just typed in this simple command to ChatGPT, write a public image plan for a Rotary Club. And it came up with these certain criterias. And you can see it spits out a lot of information. You can kind of tweak it and adjust it to meet the needs of what your goals are going to be. If you have specific goals in mind, like share social media posts once a month about our club meetings, or maybe another goal is to update the website and brochure, you can plug those in to the command. So write a public image plan for a Rotary Club, or type in your Rotary Club's name there and see what data the AI can pull from your specific club. But you can type in specific goals and it will tailor the response to meet more of what your needs are. And then, of course, review the goals with your team and submit the task for August online. The content calendar is the September task. And again, this is a foundational task, because if you don't have your club channels up to date and you don't have your public image plan completed at the beginning of the year, it's really not something you can do in December and January and after you've lost 6 months of the Rotary year and have it be effective. So the content calendar is another thing that will really help you get prepared for the upcoming year. So understanding that your plan might change a little bit. It's going to be fluid throughout the year as you come up with different activities you might need to incorporate. Same with the content calendar. You're going to have holes in your content calendar, especially the farther out you go, but keep updating that with your public image team. Just keep revisiting the content calendar and making sure that you're continue to push out those stories, and again, in a clear and impactful way. And we'll talk more throughout the year as we host our monthly webinars about how to effectively tell stories and how to utilize some of the public image tools that we encourage you to try to incorporate into your goals. But for tonight, the 3 goals that we want you to think about, or the 3 primary tasks, are the audit, the public image plan, and the content calendar. And you see on the screen, there's some of the things that are suggested to incorporate into the content calendar. But let's also get AI's response when we're trying to fill in our first 6 months of the year. So I asked AI to write a content calendar for a Rotary Club. And again, you can say, write a content calendar for the Rotary Club of, and type in your Rotary Club's name, and it will pull from any data that it can scrub, whether it's events or activities that are already out there on the internet. And then once you get the response from AI, this actually auto-populated when I typed in the command. After it gave me my content calendar, and there were 12 months worth, not just 6, but I couldn't fit them all on the screen. Would you like this turned into a printable format or editable spreadsheet, or customized specific to your club's events? And so you can respond and have that two-way communication with AI and say, yes, please add in my annual beer fest. Please add in my World Polio Day pub crawl. I see a theme here, right? But you can add in your club events, and it will spit out results that are more relevant to what you might need on your content calendar. But you see, it gives you a lot of really good basic information here for the content calendar. So those are just a couple of suggestions to get you started. Again, the Epic Award is really designed to help clubs maintain consistent activity throughout the year. So we're going to release all of the tasks by July 1st. So you'll be able to see in July what you're going to be asked to complete from July all the way through April. So you don't necessarily, they're not going to open up at the beginning of the year, but at least you'll have a good idea of what we're looking for in order for you to achieve that award. And I will tell you, while we've had increased participation from clubs in zones 33 and 34 in our Epic Award over the years, it's gradually increased, but we still have less than 20% of clubs across our zones participating. So if you're on this call tonight and your club is not participating, I really encourage you to try to incorporate this as one of the things that you focus on next Rotary year. And you can go to elevaterotary.org, and there's a place to check the status to see if your club is participating. But I won't steal Caroline's thunder, because she's going to go through a website tutorial a little bit later in this session. You see here a couple of quotes on the screen. We get a lot of quotes and feedback. We ask for your feedback on a regular basis. How is our team doing? Are there things that we can initiatives that we can start to help you? And these are just some of the things that people are saying about the Epic Award. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and we have a very special speaker on the call tonight, and he's actually an incoming Assistant Rotary Public Image Coordinator for Zone 34. But Chad has served as District Public Image Chair and Club Public Image Chair more than once or twice or 3 times. So I invited Chad to just share his experience in participating in the EPIC Award, and he's also participated in the District Challenge, and share the results of what he experienced. So Chad?
Thank you for the warm introduction, Susan, and good evening, everyone. When I first stepped into the club public image role for my club, I really had no clue what I was doing. I was simply filling a role that was needed in our club at that time. And the EPIC Awards really helped guide me on what I should be doing. And the first 3 tasks really laid the foundation for what our club focus would be the rest of the year. In my first audit, I actually discovered that we had a LinkedIn account for our club's endowment fund, and it had been unclaimed, which that's a big discovery if you didn't know about that. And I was thankful it was not being used to raise money or do anything inappropriately. The action plan and the content calendar both helped me lay the foundation for our public image blueprint for the year and how to help us achieve our goals that calendar year. Over the years of being in the role, our club has seen gains in many areas of the club, from doubling our membership activity, increasing our community involvement in our service projects and fundraising by over 44% the last 2 to 3 years, and increasing polio and foundation awareness tenfold, just to name a few. Through the foundational planning we do with these first few things of the EPIC Awards tasks. So I really can't stress how important it is to really focus on those first 3 months. And that's why we really encourage clubs to get those first 3 tasks done. When I became the district public image chair, the district tasks really helped us to improve public image awareness and district-wide communication to clubs regarding using public image to their advantage and to share their stories. We were able to highlight public image more in the district assemblies, training events, and other sorts of district-wide events. And we went from 12% of clubs designating a CPIC to 100% in the first year that I was in the role. The best thing for me, though, was that the fact that some of those tasks were similar between the club level and the district level. All I needed to do was tweak them to the district action plan instead of the club action plan, and really align it to what our district governor line called for that specific year. So there's nothing on there as a task that should overwhelm anyone, and every task is designed to help you in your role. So don't forget, ask your zone PI team, because we're here to help you succeed. All you have to do is ask us. With that, thank you all for your attendance tonight. And now it's my privilege to announce Amanda Grover to go over public image tools.
Thanks, Chad, and thanks for sharing your experience. I'm going to start sharing our screen again. Okay, and talk about the PI team. You may have heard a lot of really great things that you like tonight and you want to implement, but you might be thinking, wow, that's a whole lot for me to do by myself. And I don't know, after I make that content plan, how am I going to put that in action? And so the important thing to remember is that now is the best time for you to be putting together your public image team for your clubs and your districts for the next calendar year. And hopefully many of you on the call are well underway of having those people put in place. Your public image team can help you with things. You can have a website person. You can have somebody who specifically deals with local media and putting together press releases. It's always great to have people that take great photos and know what to look for at your club meetings, because let's face it, I would love to tell you that as a Rotarian, I have 100% attendance in my club all the time, but that's not the case. Sometimes things happen and I need other people to take pictures and to tell me what's going on and to participate in events. So having other people who can do that for you on your team is essential to having a really strong public image. Also, something we've started talking more and more about in Rotary the last few years is just communications and how we communicate both internally and externally. And so sometimes you can have somebody on your public image team that just deals with how we communicate with our club members, how we share what the Rotary story is outside of our clubs, and how we share what Rotary is just on a Rotary International level with people who may not be familiar with Rotary at all in your own community. And so your public image team is really utilizing the best talent in your club for all things. And I would be remiss when I'd say that just like everyone in your club is on the membership team. Guys, everybody in your club is on the public image team. How you talk about Rotary and how you present Rotary to people outside of your club is a very important part of what we do in public image. So just remember, everybody on your club can be a part of how we express Rotary as a whole. Finally, every single person on this call, every single person in your district are a part of your team. We're here to help make clubs better. We're here to help make districts better at the zone. And so please feel free to reach out to the members of the zone team and your district public image chair to come help you and support you in your clubs. I've had people tell me all the time that they're like, you would drive to my little club with 12 people and come do a presentation? Yes, please invite me. I would love to come speak to your clubs, and so would all of your local zone coordinators, and so would all of your local district public image team members. That's what we're here for, to support your clubs and make it better. Now I want to talk to you about some outside of just the people who can come support you and help you be better. Our zone has provided a lot of resources for you. I even saw a question in the chat that asked about the resources that are available tonight. We have these resources available to you year round to help make you provide better resources for you and help make you a more thorough and well-rounded public image chair. First of all, virtual events. Some of you on this call may have been on our event last month where we talked about using AI for your club. And Susan just talked a little bit about how you can make that an applicable thing in your public image tasks. Well, every single month we host some type of virtual event, and they're all available to you live, just like tonight's boot camp call. But we also record all those webinars and have a huge database of past lessons on LinkedIn, Canva, using video in your clubs, how to do branding correctly. There's all kinds of resources at your disposal that you can find on our Rotary website. In addition, we also host AMA sessions, which stand for Ask Me Anything, so that you can come to the table and ask any of us questions about how to best present your club to the world through many resources. You got questions about Canva, we're here to answer them. You want to know about social media or brand center, then we can help you with those things as well. So make sure you're using those tools that we have recorded from our past webinars and signing up to be a part of future webinars, just like the one that's coming up, our AMA session on artificial intelligence. We also have a brand review tool on our website. So say that your club is getting ready to reprint pop-up banners for your meetings, and you want to make sure that you're using the brand the way that RI makes us ask us to use our brand, and you want somebody to look at that before you go spend money to print it. Well, we have a tool where all you have to do is fill out a form, upload your image, and somebody on our team is going to get back to you and tell you if it's brand compliant or help make suggestions to get you there before you spend that money. We've seen a lot of clubs use this for flyers. We've seen clubs use it for t-shirts. We've seen clubs use it for all kinds of print material that they want to make sure is compliant. We've even seen clubs use it for social media posts just to make sure that they're communicating the right message. So feel free to use those brand review tools to have somebody at the zone level help you with your brand guidelines. In addition, we also have a design template, speaking of social media. So we have a really cool tool on our website that lets you go find a whole bunch of pre-designed templates where all you have to do is drop your club logo in, and then they're ready to share. And I'm glad to announce tonight that we have 3 new templates that we've uploaded this week. One of them is for World Immunization Week. You see right here on your screen. So if your club had not previously created graphics for World Immunization Week and you're like, man, that would be a great thing for me to share this week, you're in luck. You can go to the design template, drop your logo in from the brand center, and you're ready to share about World Immunization Week to support our end polio efforts. Along with many, many other pre-designed templates that are in there, from anything from membership to the Rotary Action Plan. Like you see, we have monthly graphics for your monthly themes for each month. And there's we're always rolling out more templates. So just be on the lookout and continuously check back for new added graphics for your club. Something new, if you haven't been in one of our webinars the last couple of months, is Canva for clubs. We are happy to announce that we have a Zone 3334 Canva account. And for clubs that do not have the ability to get free Canva for clubs access, meaning you have already tried to get the nonprofit free account and you just can't because your club either doesn't have a nonprofit status or because for some reason it's become difficult for you to navigate, we now offer Canva for clubs. We have several clubs that have already taken advantage of this. And if you are interested, you can find an application on our website. The one prerequisite I will share with everyone is you have to have already created a free Canva account for your club prior to signing up for this. This is available for every club in Zone 33 and Zone 34 who may want to take advantage of accessing the Canva free Pro Tools underneath the Zone account. Another new announcement tonight is our blog has a brand new name. So welcome, for any of you who have not taken advantage of our written content, please go on our website and check out Voices of Impact. Voices of Impact in our blog allows you to do the three things at the bottom: stay informed, stay engaged, stay inspired. We have answers for all of your questions that you have submitted, from things like, hey, how do I get my Facebook page back up because Facebook took it down, all the way to best practices for using your club LinkedIn accounts. We have blogs up there for various different things, from AI resources to different links. So make sure you're taking advantage of our written content that you can share on your own social media accounts to talk about different various things within the Rotary world. Finally, for those of you who asked if you will be able to find these resources after tonight's webinar, well, you're in luck, because I'm about to turn you over to Caroline, and she's going to show you exactly how to find these things whenever you need them for the next year. So Caroline, why don't you take it away?
Oh, thank you very much. Let me share my screen here, because I'm going to bring you right into the website, and there's something very exciting happening. We had complaints before of people that said, well, there is too many buttons, there is too much happening. But here we are introducing you to the Rotary Zone 33-34, which has been revamped to the most part. And that is very good for you, because now you can find everything under one domain, so to speak. So just to go on the home page, you're going down, and I welcome you. Click on everything. This is the Voices of Impact, the blog. The newest blog will be showing up there. And you have also what's going on the social media. But I want to focus on really one area, because we are talking public image today. So we go to the public image section, which is under the focus area. Remember, that's rizones33-34.org. There are a lot of links or pages that are very similar to the Elevate Rotary, and some of them are parallel. But if you are new to public image, go and start here. You have the Epic Awards, and you can even go check your Epic Award status. The public image toolbox, this is what I really want to talk about, because Amanda has pretty much talked about everything, but not really told you where you can find all this. So if you go to the toolbox, you will find a whole bunch of cool tools. We are starting with the presidential message and the vision. You have the branding material and your sample social posts. The Rotary Brand Center, you have direct links going. You want to create a club logo, go for it. The do's and the don'ts, when to use the Rotary brand and when not to use the Rotary brand, and how to use the Rotary brand. Brand elements like the colors. We had a lot of questions. People didn't know where to find the hex colors and the font names and all that sort of stuff. Did you know there is images, plenty of images and videos and audio that you can use for your public image? And then there is easy customizable templates that are from the Brand Center. These are not the same that are in the public image produces for you. There are more branding resources. You want to have that t-shirt printed, you need to have a one-time trademark release authorization. You got a link right here. You need a sample photo release form, you got a link right there. And we have also a list of Rotary International licensed vendors. And as I travel on, as Amanda was talking, or sorry, it was Susan that was talking about creating a content calendar. Well, here are a whole bunch of samples, and here are actually some links to how you want to start with that content calendar. And so I travel further down the page, I find videos. I want to see video just like 5-10 minute bits. That is not a problem. So go and just pick the title that you want. If you want to see the whole thing from the beginning, it's 1 hour and 6 minutes. But you know, a lot of people do not have that 1 hour and 6 minutes. We only have 10 minutes between a break, or we're waiting for something to download or something like that. The cool tools section is by far my favorite, especially this guy here, which I kind of adopted. It's mine now. Design tools, you have the logs to the Rotary Giphy channel. Anybody used Giphy before? These little funny things? It's there. The People of Action photo editor, Canva, and all this. Just go ahead and click on it. AI tools, these are all links to these AI tools. So when you get lost and you figure, well, I know there is a link somewhere, but I don't know where to do this, go to the PI toolbox. That's where you find it. And we had even some people that asked, well, where do I get the ticket thing? You know, we want to sell tickets to our fundraising event. Here are the links: Eventbrite, Humanitix, and Cephi. Now, I want to put this disclaimer here is that we only provide these links. They are not commercial, and they're only for informational purposes. So basically what we do is we make it easy for you to find it. You don't have to go out there to look for it. Helpful guides, always a good thing. And then we have here the public image, etc. Some more thing. And if you really want to know everything, click on the sign-up sheet for the latest news. Going back up, do not forget to also check out the useful links and tools, the brand design review that Amanda was talking about, and if you want to go back to the Elevate Rotary, this is not going to be there very long, because we are going to bring everything from Elevate Rotary, or hopefully bring this over under one roof. So whether it is foundation, membership, or public image, you have just one click to go. Now, I think I covered pretty much everything, because everything else, you need to go and just play with this. All you need to keep in mind are zones3334.org, and just explore. Realize there is a lot of information coming, and it's constantly changing. And the Voices of Impact, definitely read it, because here we got access blocked, we got Rotary's future, we got building, we got a little bit for everything, and it's just a great tool. And with that, since I think I covered pretty much everything in very few minutes, and with that, I would like to hand things over to the incoming zone. Hold on, I stop share here. To the incoming Zone 33 RPIC, Ashley, who will remind us of some of the resources Rotary International has available to help public image chairs. She's also about to share a few upcoming events in the next part of this public image journey. Ashley, take it away.
Thanks, Caroline. 1 second here. I share my screen. Beautiful. So in addition to all of these amazing public image resources that are provided by the zone, Rotary has a lot of significant resources for you as well. And so hopefully you are familiar with some of these, but if not, we'll walk you through 3 main resources tonight. First, you have the Brand Center, and that was covered briefly earlier. This is really the home of where you can find all the great brand information. So if you end up on the Rotary website instead of our zone website, you can find in the Brand Center all the information around colors, fonts, etc. But where I think the power really is that this is where you build your brand compliant logo. So if you think back to that X and that check mark that Susan mentioned earlier, if you're still using a gold and blue logo, please go to the Brand Center to build your logo. You can build logo lockups, which includes kind of a partner logo, and you can produce them in lots of different formats, an all white version, black, gray, blue. There really are plenty of options that Rotary gives you. In addition, you can also build people of action photos, and there's also customizable templates for flyers and other signage. Plus, if you don't have a lot of photos or videos of your own work yet, and you're working on building up your catalog, know there's hundreds of that type of material in the Brand Center as well. So again, make sure you're bookmarking the Brand Center. I guarantee you'll be visiting it quite often. Additionally, there is the Learning Center, and this is Rotary's vast knowledge base where you can take courses on everything from public image, foundation, membership, president training, district governor training. There's so much in there, but you can actually build your own course catalog. So if you're new to public image, just hop into the Learning Center. You'll go ahead and you can just type in public image. You'll see all the different types of options. You can learn about the brand. You can learn about social media. There's a lot of technical tools as well as higher level strategy conversations happening in the Learning Center. And then lastly, the Service Project Center is probably the one you are least familiar with. That's because it's a little bit newer and it keeps kind of changing up a little bit. They keep improving it. And this is where you can actually go in and share the service projects that you are doing in your club. This is so you can learn from other clubs, but also find additional partners that may want to collaborate with you. And so it's a great way to understand what Rotary is doing across the world, to learn more about their processes, what's successful, but also, like I said, find good partners and collaborators for what you're trying to do in your clubs and in your communities. So hopefully you find the Brand Center, the Learning Center, and the Service Project Center to be helpful. And again, these are all Rotary International resources, so you can find them at rotary.org. All right, so I know that we threw a lot at you tonight, but we still have a handful of things we'd like to share. So first, we do have a lot of social media channels, as you can see from all the icons on the screen. So please, if you're not connected with us, go ahead and connect, like, share, follow, etc. We really would love to have your engagement. The other cool thing is that you can share a lot out from these pages. So if you're looking for some content, we're trying to give you content on a regular basis that you can use for your club and district sites as well. We mentioned earlier we do have some upcoming events and reminders for you all, so I'm going to run through a few of those before we get to the Q&A session. First, if you attended our AI session just a few weeks ago, you noticed that we were going to ask if anyone needed to talk through some of these tools, and we're offering that resource coming up on May 7th. So this is an Ask Me Anything forum. It's super informal. Hop on and leave when you need to, but we'll be there to answer any of your questions and talk through what we talked about in that AI session. So we encourage you to join us, even if you weren't able to attend the webinar itself. Please go ahead and join us for this conversation. We know it'll be a good one. And the website to register is there at the bottom, and we'll also make sure you guys get emails about that as well. Next up, for those of you who are headed to Calgary in June, we wanted to make sure everyone knew about the Zone 33-34 event. It's called The Gathering. There is information on the website that we showed you just earlier, and we hope that you will join us. Again, this is a ticketed event and space is limited, so if you are going to Calgary and want to hang out with your friends from Zones 33 and 34, please look into this. We would love to see you there. And then lastly, one more plug for some things that are coming up. Has anyone here heard of the Rotary Service Project Shark Tank? Raise hands. Everyone's, Marshall's waving very enthusiastically. So if you're not familiar, this is actually the second annual Shark Tank event. This event happens at our Zone Summit, which happens in the fall every year. This year it will be in Jacksonville, Florida. And we are inviting clubs and districts to submit any global grant that they are working on to be part of this service project pitch competition. So much like Shark Tank, we have our own Rotary Sharks that will be evaluating your projects and giving you some feedback. But you'll also have the opportunity to really share your story of your project with the room and hopefully find some new collaborators, maybe potentially even some funding, etc. So right now we're in the early stages of this. We're looking for projects to be submitted. So we will choose 3 finalists and help them prep for the September summit. But the deadline to submit your project for consideration is May 30th. And so you see the website at the bottom, currentsofcreativity.org/Shark Tank. Again, if you, your club, your district is working on a global grant that you think would be awesome to really share with the rest of the zone and pitch to our Rotary Sharks, we encourage you to submit that project and to take part of the second annual Rotary Shark Tank. All right, so we're going to take one big breath really quick. We know that was a lot of information and you're feeling slightly overwhelmed. Perfectly okay. We understand that. We just hope that you bookmark these resources and can come back to them later. But before we go ahead and take questions, I do want to give a shout out to the public image team that is on the call. So from Zone 33, we have Chris and Hamilton. Wave your hand. And then from 34, we have Chad, Caroline, Sean, Amanda, and Susan. And then we also have Marshall, who is our communications action plan guru and leader, and also the director-elect for zones 33 and 34. So again, this team here, we are here to support you. No matter who you contact, again, we're always here to help you tell Rotary's story, and we hope the resources we share tonight will help you do so. So with that, we have about 20 minutes left for questions. You can go ahead and use the Q&A function, and we also will allow you to use the chat function if that's easier. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so you can see our faces, and we'll see what's come in.
I did see a question come up, and I know it was answered in the Q&A, but I did want to emphasize that the webinars and the resources that we're talking about tonight are not just for Club Public Image chairs. Anyone can attend our webinars. We want all Rotarians and Rotaractors to gain and benefit from this knowledge. We have people from around the world that have been hopping on our webinars. So we designed it for zones 33 and 34, our Rotary family and our zones, but it's really good content, not just for the CPICs, but for anyone in the club. And that goes for all of these resources. So I just wanted to make sure everyone was aware of that.
Thanks, Susan. There's another question that came through earlier, and Chris and Chad both did a really great job answering it, but I'm hoping that one or both of them would be willing to share it, because I don't want anyone to get lost trying to find it. So one of the questions came in is, can you let us know how to measure PI activities, specifically around what Chad was saying with increased membership, contribution to the foundations, etc. So Chad, would you like to kind of explain what you wrote in the answer? And then Chris, if you'd like to add on, I know you answered as well.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So for us, a lot of our growth was measured by existing district reports that you can get at the district level for membership and foundation giving. Our club specifically was in the bottom 10% of foundational giving the year I took over. And the last 2 years, we've been in the top 3 out of 42 clubs. So that was just a natural, organic thing. The biggest thing that we did was just short targeted videos in our morning meetings towards foundation. We had special speakers get up and talk about what Paul Harris Fellow versus Paul Harris Society were, and the differences of things like that. And then fundraising, we made connections with print media and got the word out on that. And we highlighted accomplishments and things that were upcoming and how people in the community could engage Rotary, or we even did informational things on what Rotary was and how we helped the community. So those were some of the things, and most of it was just organic feedback we were getting that we knew it was working.
Yeah, Ashley, was this Fitsum's question about the how to measure?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. And I thought it was a great question, because with foundation and membership, the metrics are, right there in your face, right? I mean, membership, you're doing good on membership, your net gain. Foundation, you can, look at the numbers. But I think the question really does illustrate the integration of public image with really everything in Rotary. I mean, I said, not really tongue in cheek, but it is self-authenticating, right? I mean, if you have a great public image program and you're doing everything you're supposed to do, you're going to have a healthy club. You're going to be in a steady growth pattern. You're going to have healthy foundation giving. I mean, it may not be something that, once you've kind of accepted this holistic approach and you've integrated public image into all those areas, it's not necessarily something you're going to see in year one. But I think that if you're consistent with it, over time, you're going to bear the, you're going to see the fruits of your efforts. So I would look at it holistically and just understand that if you're doing what you're supposed to do on public image, you're going to see growth in membership and great foundation giving.
Great. Thanks, Chad. Thanks, Chris. Next up, team, and I think a few of you will be able to give some feedback on this. Is there any RI video specifically answering the question, why Rotary? Meaning what we do, why we do it, to share on social media platforms. So there's lots in the brand center, but anyone want to speak to some of their favorites that do this very well?
I'll say that I follow the RI Zone or the RI Rotary International social media channels, and they put out a lot of videos on a pretty regular basis that are good content. I don't know off the top of my head just any specific one, but like you said, Ashley, the brand center, and then we've done a couple of webinars on creating videos, and really the best way to attract Rotarians to your club is to relate to the community that you're serving. So it doesn't have to be a professional video that's shared. Maybe, just take some interviews of members of your club to start off with and ask them why they join, what they love about your club. Gather as much content as you can. I just talked to an e-club last weekend about, gathering content when they have their event, because you can't ever go back and take pictures and videos once it's done. So you don't have to be a professional videographer or photographer. Just take as many pictures as you can. Remember to try to show people of action when you do those service projects in your community, and push those videos out, because that's really why join Rotary. It's because of the impact that we make in our community, and that's going to want people, encourage people to participate. But as far as pre-recorded videos, you can follow the social channels from RI and look at other districts and zones, and we publish content on our social media channels, as Ashley mentioned, that we would love for you to share. But utilize your district public image team and channels as well. And then, of course, don't forget about the brand center.
Thanks, Susan. Next up, we have any tips on how to synchronize and align board planning with the public image team? And I see Chris has asked to answer this one to start us off.
Yeah, Patrick, again, I think that's a great question. I would say number one, having a seat at the table. And this goes into, just basic board formation. And I've audited this at a number of districts and across a number of clubs, and it's amazing to me how many districts don't have their public image chair, their district public image chair, as part of the executive board or executive committee. Similarly, you see that happen at clubs as well, where public image doesn't have a seat at the table. It is no accident that Rotary International has 3 coordinators across zones. That's foundation, membership, and public image. You need all 3. And so, I think clubs and districts need to be following that lead and making sure that public image teams are at the table. So if that's not the case in your particular club, I would encourage you to go back and, ask ask your board why the public image team's not at the table. And if the public image team is at the table, then you should naturally be integrated into, the board planning and be a part of that. So that would be my advice.
Perfect. Thanks, Chris. Next up, someone has a very active Interact club. Any advice on how they can use these PI tools or knowledge?
So if I can field that one, I'm actually the advisor for our Interact club. One thing that I did, I got all the kids together and let them do the PI. They know it as well or better than most of us do. So they actually introduced me to some things, and they know what's working for their age and generation. I'll be the first one to say I have know nothing about TikTok, right? So I'm not going to be helpful to them on that. But it really got them involved in knowing that type of stuff, and they're using the same tools we are as well. So whether it's Canva or LinkedIn, well, they're probably not on LinkedIn as much, but Facebook and all of that. So it's not that much different. It's just really integrating a couple of the tools that they use more than we do.
Thanks,
And
Jeff.
I'll
Okay,
jump in and remind everybody that your Interact brands are found in the brand center, just like Rotaract and Rotary. And I think probably one of the biggest things that I've had to work on in my own district is communicating that an Interact advisor can go in there and download Interact logos the exact same way we do for our clubs, districts, and zones.
Thanks, Amanda. And just a reminder, the brand center no longer requires a login, which is extremely helpful. So it is more accessible and easier for everyone involved in Rotary, no matter which level of the organization.
And if you have, I know a lot of clubs outsource their marketing for events. Well, some clubs do. If you have a marketing agency that's not a member of your club and not necessarily aware of the Brand Center, make sure you share the Brand Center link with that agency if they're preparing materials for your club or events or whatever it might be, so that they can help you prepare brand compliant materials. Always first go to a licensed vendor, but if it's just something like a website that they're managing for you, make sure they're using brand compliant with the voice and visual guidelines.
And if you're using this a vendor of your own, like you have the t-shirt vendor in your town that you want to give the business to, always make sure that you are getting a authorization from Rotary International. I did show you the form, it's in the toolbox, and they respond to this fairly quick.
We've had a lot of success since we launched our brand design template last year. We've had a lot of engagement in clubs sending us graphics or designs or t-shirt designs, poster designs, brochures, whatever it might be, or just graphics for social media posts or events. And we turn that around quickly too. You know, we're a very small team that's doing outreach for a lot of clubs. So we rely on our district public image chairs heavily, but that's not to say that we're happy to assist clubs in any way that we can. And that design review application on the website is really great way to quickly communicate with us. And it's routed to the entire zone public image team. So all of us, and then a few more. And so somebody will get back to you pretty quickly. But make sure you do that so that you can remain brand compliant. And one thing I really didn't touch on, but I feel it's very important, we do have a branding webinar, usually in the fall, where we have Representative RI's brand specialist, Liz Chom, come in, and she kind of gets down into the minute details of branding. But we also need to understand the why. It's not just to check a box and say you've audited your channels. And we're making clubs, you know, we're not the Rotary police. We're not out there to make clubs be brand compliant. We want you to be brand champions. We want to coach you as much as we can to encourage you and help you use the right brand and be brand compliant. But the reason behind it is you're identifying your club with this worldwide organization that has a 120-year history of doing good in the communities. And if you're diminishing the integrity of the logo by using the wheel as the O in a word, or the golf cart, or the mark of excellence as a wheel on a golf cart or a bike, and taking away that Rotary master brand that we want you to use with your club name, you're not identifying your club and your brand with that rich history and strong history of Rotary. And you're also not letting the club know, or the community know, that Rotary is in that community. So make sure, you know, there's a reason behind why we ask you to download the right club logo and utilize it. It's not just to check a box or make you follow rules. There's actually a purpose that can benefit your club if you do it the correct way.
Thanks, Susan. Another question came in. Is there a consistent way to tag districts, clubs, individuals on social media? Should we tag our district or zones in various posts? And does that help spread the word? And Marshall would like to take the first stab at answering this one.
Yeah, sure. You should absolutely tag all the members in your club, tag your zone, tag your district. When you tag members of your club, what you're doing is you're expanding the reach of your post. People may not be content creators in your club, that they can't help out with a public image strategy from that perspective, but everyone can share. And so if you tag them, they can share, and you are now in their circle of influence, and their friends are now seeing what's going on at your Rotary Club. So it increases those circles of influence to bring more attention to your club. The other piece is over the last 5 years, I think, we've used the hashtag Rotary Shares for posts in zones 33 and 34. And if you go back and look, you'll find a whole bunch of posts over the years using that hashtag. And that's kind of an informal way that we've shared material from across zones 33 and 34. So yes, encourage you to tag folks, and encourage you to use the hashtag Rotary Shares.
Oh, Ashley, you're muted.
Sorry, thank you. I'm scanning through because we're getting some thank yous in here. Okay, here's a new one. Are there any special tips or courses for when PI members or board members need to address the press? This can be sensitive. So anyone want to speak to press and media relationships?
Well, I think first off, identifying the person who is going to be the point, and there's two different situations, right? So if you're talking about dealing with the press and media relations to help you get the word out about your club, then you should have someone designated on the PI team to cultivate those relationships. I always like to give the recommendation to recruit an editor to be a member of your club, or make them an honorary member. Invite someone from your local press organizations to be a part of Rotary, so they not only will hopefully help you get the word out, but they'll see the value behind what you're doing and want to become involved in the club. So that's one relationship you can cultivate. Now, if we're dealing with like crisis intervention, or you know, it could be something like a disaster in your area. Goodness knows our zones went through a lot of that last year with hurricane season. Make sure you have a spokesperson, and in a disaster situation, it might be your district disaster relief chair or recovery chair. But make sure you have a spokesperson either at the district level or also your club level that's going to be the point person to field any of those questions, and knowing that they can field those questions appropriately and accurately representing your club in a positive way. It might be the president, it might be the PI chair, it might be someone else, but try to identify those individuals now so that when it happens, you'll have a plan in place.
I like that. Just tag on to what Susan said. There's also the situations where there could be negative publicity or potential negative publicity. In those situations, you absolutely need to get your district leadership involved. And there are RI resources that are readily available to jump in on something. So if you feel like it's something that's going to publicly hurt Rotary's brand or your club's brand, I would highly encourage getting those folks involved as early as possible.
I would like to add something to that as well. Do not ignore it. Don't just go and delete the Facebook page or anything like that. Make lemonade out of a lemon. That's the best way to approach it, because that will show the world that you're standing behind your club. You sometimes have some bad players. You can't be responsible for the bad player, but don't ignore it as a club. Just address it, and that is the best offense.
Thanks, Susan, Chris, and Caroline. And we did also share some additional resources in the chat. All right, we have one more question that was submitted, so we'll take this last one and then we will wrap up. So to our group, should we identify social media influencers? And if so, how?
Everyone's quiet. I mean, I always encourage clubs to think outside of the box. That's a perfect example of thinking outside of the box. I would, obviously vet them and be cautious. If you're tying them to your club, you want them to represent the four-way test and be honest in their actions. So I would, if you're doing that, I mean, absolutely take advantage of any connections you have, but also make sure that you're approaching it with a plan and with the right intentions in mind.
I think this is Hamilton. I think that they can be used in very specific instances. For instance, if you're doing a special event, a large regional special event or something like that with a number of clubs where an influencer may be involved in that event and they're vetted by a larger group of people, that makes it more effective and surgical in what you're trying to do with that influencer. Aside from that, it's hard to work with a social media influencer these days without putting out some money, unless you have them join your club. So certainly encourage them first to join your club and get involved there. But as Susan said, definitely vet them and see what other products or services or things like that they have promoted in the past, and that will help understand what they may promote in the future, so that whether you want to be associated with that or not.
Awesome. Thanks, Susan. Thanks, Hamilton. All right, it is just about 7 o'clock, and thanks to the team for answering the last few questions that came into our panel. So hopefully everyone gets their immediate questions answered. If for any reason you think of some things, I know you'll be processing this information for several days and weeks to come. Please don't hesitate to reach out. We are here to support you, and the website we covered is also there at any time to help you find some great information and resources. So good night, everyone, and thank you so much.